Today we have our discussion for chapter 21. So chapter 21 is hypertext, multimedia, and World Wide Web. So we are going to discuss different topics under this chapter. So first we have the hypertext. So this is allowing the documents to be moved into a non-linear fashion or in hyperlink. So we have also the multimedia wherein we will discuss with incorporating the sound, images, and video. The World Wide Web, which is what we call or what we refer as the global hypermedia system, which is a combination of the um, different medias that we use, and of course the texts. So we have also animation and videos, which can show information, and of course application of hypermedia, which includes online help, education, and e-commerce. So also the World Wide Web in terms of illustrating the hypermedia design, but also its own or discussing the problems experienced in terms of the design of the www. And lastly, the dynamic web content. So this can be used for simple online demonstration for the complete web business applications. Okay. So in this chapter, we will look into the distinctive features of the hypertext and multimedia, where they are used, and of course, also their potential problems. So the different diagrams and photographs were used in terms of this technology na ginagamit natin, which allows us to play animations, video, interactive pictures in terms of the web or the web space. So in this chapter, we will also discuss the loss in hyperspace problem, how to design hypertext that is easy to understand and navigate, and how different features such as bookmarks, back button, search can make hypertext and the web more accessible. So basically, this chapter is about web. Okay, lahat ng terminologies na pinag-aaralan natin or that we already know that we are using in terms of the World Wide Web. So we will look into the technology and the issues in terms of networking, which influences the usability of the www. So we will also consider the static web content, which includes graphics, the Steam media, and of course review different ways in which the web pages can be made dynamic through the use of interactive content and through server-side generation of the web pages. So the first topic under the
Ma'am, nawala po yung
chapter.
presentation po. Excuse
Ay,
me
nawala
lang.
na naman. Ganun. Sorry, the screen is still visible to others. Please cancel your presentation. How is it canceling? Resume. Resume.
Ayan, okay na po.
Okay. So the first topic that we have for the chapter is understanding hypertext, wherein we will discuss the different terminologies. So I hope nakikita pa rin. Okay. So the first terminology that we will discuss is the hypertext. So the definition of hypertext, wherein we will discuss the text, hypertext, and the multimedia. Okay. Based on your understanding, how you use this, matagal na kayong gumagamit ng web eh. Ano ba yung difference ng text, hypertext, and multimedia? Hakas. Ano yung difference nitong text, hypertext, and the multimedia? Ma'am, hindi po sa akin sumasama yung audio sa record. Um, Sino ba yung nagre-record kanina? Yung audio, sino nagre-record, please? Para madaling ma-incorporate sa video discussion. Christine, sa'yo ba yung nagre-record ng ano?
Ma'am, yun nga po sinusubukan ko po, hindi din po makapag-record kasi nasa Google Meet po ako.
Hmm.
Sa akin po, ma'am, naka-record.
Ayun, kay Charlie. Okay, very good. Ayan, thank you, thank you. So, nag-alala nga ka, akala ko hindi nag-record. Okay, so let's first discuss, or tingnan natin, ano ba yung difference itong text, hypertext, and the multimedia? Can anyone please state how do they understand these different um, these different texts or terms?
Ma'am Sub po.
Yes, Neil?
Ano po yung hypertext po? Ito po yung mga, kumbaga po, ito po yung mga link. Yung text po, ito po yung mga nakikita po natin sa screen, yung mga nakasulat po na yan. Tapos yung multimedia po, yung another way po ng communication through, mga artistic po ba, parang mga media po. Videos, pictures, audios po, ganun.
Okay. So text, yes, it's correct. Text is more of the plain words that you can read sa computers natin or sa ating mobile pages. Hypertext are those with links, diba? Which sometimes incorporates diagrams, photographs, and other media, which we refer as the multimedia. Or ang isa pang term na ginagamit dito is the hypermedia. Okay. So, unlike with the traditional text na lagi natin binabasa, like the books, the manuals, it has this series of pages wherein kapag meron tayong hindi naiintindihan na term sa mga unang pages, we tend to look for the meaning sa mga iba pang pages, right? Pinupuntahan natin sa definition of terms. Tama ba? Ganun ba ginagawa nila? Tama po ba? Ganun ba ginagawa niyo kapag di nyo naiintindihan yung dinefine sa book? Friends?
Pa,
Ganun ba ginagawa niyo kapag halimbawa hindi niyo naiintindihan yung dinefine sa book? Hinahanap ninyo yung definition of terms. Tama po ba?
apa. Apo, ma'am.
Okay. Then after having that,
Yes po.
so okay, salamat. So after having that in mind, ang ginagawa natin, di ba? After we look into the meaning of that certain word, we tend to return to the original pages kung saan tayo huling stop. Aside from looking at the definition of terms, we normally look into encyclopedia or dictionaries. Doon natin tinitingnan yung meaning. But in terms of the hypertext, so it tends to solve etong problem pagdating sa ating traditional text na sulat sa libro. Because as we all know, kapag nasa manual or nasa libro, kailangan mong simula na basahin mula sa umpisa hanggang dito. Okay, ganun normally yung magpa-function. But for the hypertext, you can easily jump from one page to the other. So, ganun ang ginagawa niya. Or one line to the other. That is for your hypertext. So, it solves the limitation in terms of the structured text na offered ng mga libro, ng mga manuals. And we can actually see agad. So, I'll be adding recitation para ngayon. So, typically, those hypertext, as I said kanina, are composed of photographs and other media, as well as, of course, your text, which is referred as the multimedia and hypermedia. What you can see now on your screen, we're in the typical structure of the linear text and the hypertext shown. Sabi nga natin, it's more of the linear. Linear kasi ang pagbabasa natin sa mga books and manuals, wherein you can see that on the upper image. On the lower image, you can see how the hypertext is functioning, wherein it has these links from one page to the other. Diba? So you can easily jump from one page to the other. Hindi nyo tinitingnan mula sa first web page ng inyong na tinitingnan yung website or tinitingnan yung platform you can easily see kung ano yung gusto mong makita, what interests you the most. That is basically how it functions for the hypertext. So the next that we have is the rich content. So rich content, we often encountered these different errors, wherein you have those materials such as text and static diagrams and photographs. Pagdating dito sa may rich content, it's more of the dynamic materials such as animation, video, audio clips, and some computer applications. So, ano ba yung animation? Based on what you have experienced, Mary Ann. Ano ba yung animation, Mary Ann?
Ano po, yung mga character po siya na nagmo-move po siya na 3D na po siya. Ganun po.
Okay? It can be 3D or it can be 2D as long as it is moving. So, ano pa yung pwedeng example ng inyong animation na nakikita sa mga computer niyo or maybe on web? Nicole? 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 How about you, Ralph?
Hello po, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Ano po, ma'am?
Example
animation
of
pa.
the animation, yes.
Yun nga po, ma'am. Kadalasan po, moving lang po siya.
O, example nga.
Games po.
Or masyadong advanced yan. Example. Anong klase sa games?
Yung mga ano po, yung mga tumatakbo lang po na ano, kamukha po ng mga Subway Surfer,
Characters,
Zombie Tsunami,
right?
yung mga ganun po.
So those that you're referring to are characters, right?
Apo.
O yun. Be specific with your example. Don't give me the full example or na games po. Okay, tapos na. Hindi. See to it that you will give an specific example. So those examples that they gave is more of the for the animation wherein you have the images na merong additional motion to those images wherein you can move those, alter, and of course it can also change in time. So doon sa mga nakikita nyo, like for example, yung mga zombie tsunami, napapalundag nyo, napapatakbo ninyo, di ba? Ganun yung ginagawa nyo doon sa mga characters nyo doon. So we have the simplest example wherein you have the digital clock sa inyong mga laptops or sa inyong mga cellphones. You can see that it can flick by seconds. And of course, in terms of analog clock naman, you can see that example if you will hover sa inyong hindi pala digital. So, you can see that as nag-hover siya or tinitingnan ninyo na buong clock siya. And some of the computers are actually displaying the analog clocks. Yung digital representation. But of course, it does move. That is the simplest way of animation. So, another common use of animation in current windowing system is to animate the cursor. So, di ba minsan meron kayong mga ginagamit noon na nag-animate yung cursor ninyo? Nag-add kayo ng animation na dina-download mo sa internet. Tama ba? Have you used that? Nag-iiba yung itsura ng cursor nyo. Unlike with what you are using na white lang and then the cursor, yung usual itsura niya, ang nangyayari meron pang moving images for the cursor na nilalagay nyo. So those are mga animation that you can download and of course install for your cursor. So another type is your animated icons. So it can be used to show system state. Like for example, whenever you open your games, Anong pinapakita kapag nag-open yung game na nilalaro ninyo? Like ML, Rowan. Rowan?
Yung ano po, hello po.
Yeah.
Yung pag pinapakita po dun yung mismo parang cover ng ML po.
Okay, and then you can see
Ako po, ma'am.
yeah? Yes,
Progress bar
Renz?
po. Yung pong loading screen po, progress bar.
Yes, exactly. That is one example of your animation. Okay? So the animation can be used to show that there are changes in terms of uh, the application na gusto mong buksan or that is currently open. So, yun yung notion nun, di ba? It can also be used as a cartoon-like way wherein you have the animated objects which is used to perform particular functions for the user. We have those animation na cartoon-like na avatars. So, yung iba gumagamit ng like pero doon sa ginamit ninyo, if you use the VR meeting, kung yung may avatar doon, those are basically 3D yung representation niya, if nakita niyo. Sa amin kasi yung ginamit namin nung isang section B, I forgot the Rumi rin ata yun. It's more of 3D like. Okay? The next one, the next topic under your rich content is the video and audio. So this is the one that we normally engage in. So before, yung mga MP3 na mga audio files, yung mga music na yan, are ang ginagawa namin, we download those MP3 files. Wala kami players like Spotify, which is recently lang nagkaroon, mga ilang years pa lang ang Spotify. So, para maiwasan yung mga pagda-download ng mga MP3 ng mga music na yon na wala namang rights and of course it's not permissible by law, Spotify has been created. Okay? So, to protect the interest of those artists or music artists. So we have also the videos. The videos which we use for education, entertainment too, or other in terms of reference. So we normally have this na before. We have those audios and videos na biniburn natin sa DVD, save it in our computer, have that recorded in your cell phones. Now you can easily have those recorded videos and audios uploaded to the internet by using different platforms. So ano ba yung mga platforms na ginagamit ninyo, Russell? Russell?
Yes, ma'am. Yes po.
Ano ginagamit
Mga-
yung platform?
Ang ginagamit po naming platform po, saan po ba, ma'am?
Audio and videos kapag nag-upload kayo.
YouTube po.
Okay, so YouTube. So aside from YouTube, you have other platforms and you can do that as well, such as for your Instagram, for your Facebook, for your Google Classroom, chat room. So na-upload mo, di ba? But what are the
Yes po.
differences? Ano yung nakita ninyong differences whenever you are uploading those videos and audio files? Pagdating sa mga platform na ginagamit ninyo, Nicole? Nicole?
May mga restriction po.
Okay, correct. May mga restrictions. Kapag sa YouTube, kapag nag-upload kayo ng video, gaano kabigat yung video na pwede nyo i-upload? On? Nicole? Gaano kabigat? Ralph? Ralph?
Paano po bigat mo yung platform file?
Yeah, yung file. Size ng file.
Hindi ko lang po sure. Kung gaano po yung maximum sa YouTube.
Mhm. How about kapag sa Facebook?
Yung sa
Kapag
YouTube po,
ina...
5 gig.
Okay, thank you, Gerald. So kapag sa Facebook naman, like for example, posting that as posting sa wall ninyo, unlike posting that sa inyong story, there is also that difference, right? Tama ba, Rowan? Rowan, are you still there?
Ano po?
Mhm. Tama ba na magkaiba? Okay, gaano kahaba pa pwede nyo i-upload on your story and on your Facebook? May
Sa story
difference
po,
ba sila? Yes,
opo,
Rowan?
sa story po mga MB lang po kasi ilang seconds lang po yung pwedeng
Mm.
i-post po doon. Pero sa Facebook, may mga videos po na inaabot ng 1 hour pero baka po pwede yung mga mahigit 1 gig.
Okay, and aside from that, the most recent that we had for the video is of course having those videos in live. Okay? Diba? Okay, hi Josiah. Okay, wala kayong klase?
Kakatapos lang po, ma'am.
Oh, thank you for attending the class today. Salamat. Oo, kahit hindi kayo nakaschedule ah.
Last
Okay,
meeting
thank
na yata
you.
to, ma'am eh.
Oo, last meeting na to. And it will be recorded and then uploaded sa ating classroom.
Sige po.
Okay. So what we did whenever we had that limitation in terms of the sizes of our audio and video is of course we compress the video and audio files, right? Right, class? Tama ba? So yun ganun ba ginagawa ninyo? Kino-compress natin ito. Like for example, the last case that we had nung discussion natin sa 2A. Nung nag-discuss tayo sa 2A, what I did is of course, na-record ko siya gamit yung phone. Kaso nung nakita ko yung size ng video, that is almost an hour video, inabot siya ng 8 gig. So napakalaki ng file. So what I did is to of course compress it into the smallest version and then saka ko pa lang siya na i-upload sa ating Google Classroom. Same scenario with the sound. So you can also compress that into a much lesser in terms of the capacity or yung bigat niya. Kasi the different platforms that we are using has its limitations. May limitation siya. Even though that is Facebook or that is chat rooms, that is of course your YouTube or Instagram, they do have those limitations that we have to abide to. The good thing about using Google platforms, like for example, sending a video or sending an audio or files which is very big, which is greater than 25 MB whenever we send that through emails. So what the Google does is, of course, to have it uploaded in our Google Drive, and then automatically it will be the one na isa-send through our emails, right? Nasubukan niyo na yan, class? Nasubukan niyo na ba yung ganon na scenario? Camille?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so nasubukan na. So it is a good thing that our technology really is meeting the needs na or yung mga hindrances na na-experience natin before. So yung mga technology na i-develop in the future, somehow itong technology natin ngayon na yung Google Classroom, baka mas upgraded na yan in the years to come. Or maybe there is this another platform na pwedeng mag-boost or pwedeng bigla na lang lilitaw na mas effective pala than Google Classroom. And of course, I hope it's free of use like the Google Classroom. The reason why we had the Google Chat, diba, I created a Google Chat and of course invite all of you to become part of the GC that I created for that. The main reason is for us to have the communication. So whenever you have questions na concerning the subject, you can easily message me doon. Kasi yun, nakabukas siya ng Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Laging gano'n. That is also my way of having my workspace not inside my personal space, which is the Facebook. And of course, it is an easy platform for you to use na meron tayong collaboration. You can set the meetings, you can also send files, you can also send links, and of course, start ang video meeting with the whole class na walang limitation in terms or na hindi nakalimit yung sharing into one individual only or one contact only. Okay. The last topic under your rich content is the computation, intelligence, and interaction. So the basic example of this, yung example na binigay kanina ni Ralph, are those interactive hypermedia which is embedded into games or applications. So ito na yung mga dina-download natin, naka-install sa mga cellphones ninyo, naka-install sa mga computer ninyo, wherein you use those games which are interactive, which you also use to communicate. Tama ba? Such as yung ML, right? You can easily play with other people na hindi lang located near your site or yung kaharap mo. You can easily play with other people outside the country or maybe in other locations here in the Philippines. You can meet new people using that platform. Tama po ba? Sa mga gumagamit ng ML dyan.
Opo.
Okay, naku, babae pa yon. Okay, thank you for answering. Sino yung sumagot?
Ako po.
Sino ba yun? Mary Ann. Okay, thank you, Mary Ann. So, in terms of text and your hypertext, it suggests a more passive content under the user's control. So, yung iba kasing hypermedia may contain more intelligent components or agents who is actively working to shape the experience for the user. Like for example, there are some games which is you started with a character na basically super plain, and then once you are having that level na tumataas, nag-iiba rin yung character. Tama ba? Ano bang game yung gano'n na ginagamit ninyo? Atras. Yung nag-change yung
MMORPG
character.
po yung ganun.
Oh, okay. So yun, meron gano'n na klaseng yun. So that is in terms of your computation, intelligence, and interaction. So those are the different rich contents that you normally experience on those web and of course applications installed on your unit or on your computer or on your smartphone. Okay. So the next topic under this, I forgot to change the title, is delivery technology. Okay, I will just change some of the content of this presentation. So, ayaw nyo mag-book. So, tuloy na lang natin. So, under the delivery technology, you have three types. You have the on the computer, on the web, and on the move. Pag sinabi natin on the move, that is in terms of your cell phone. Ano ba yung difference ng tatlo na to in terms of delivery technology? Wherein the hypertext or the different hypermedia were delivered through the use of your computer, your web, and your cell phones. Ano yung differences in terms of your experience? Charlie? Charlie?
Hello po.
Yeah.
Yung pinagkaiba po is sa computer po, medyo mas mabilis po siya kaysa po sa cellphone. Depende na lang po kung mabagal na po yung unit.
Okay.
Then, yung sa web naman po, madali niyo po siyang magagamit and ma-explore po. Yun lang po.
Meron pang isa, cellphone.
Yung sa cellphone naman po, maliban po sa maliit po yung screen is, tawag dito. Parang limited lang po yung pwede mong ma-explore. And,
Talaga? Sa cellphone?
ay, hindi
Limited
pa.
lang?
Hindi pa, I mean,
I
I
am
mean po
asking
is,
for your experience, ha?
opo. Yun nga po, yung parang mas mas madali po talaga pag naka-computer.
Mas madali po.
Ano, yes po. Sa computer po kasi marami pong shortcut key. Kesa po sa cellphone, parang wala po siyang shortcut key. Ano lang po siya, yung i-slide mo lang po siya, scroll. Yun lang po.
Okay. So for the computer, this basically downloaded or installed on your PC. Yun yung mga yun. So yung mga ini-install ninyo dyan sa mga computer ninyo. So those are basically the hypertexts which contains graphics, video, and audio clips. Such as, ano ba yung mga ini-install natin sa computer? I installed Netflix on my computer. I installed Netflix too. Or pwede ko rin siyang i-access sa web. Pwede ko rin siyang i-access sa my cellphone ko. Ano yung differences ng experiences doon sa tatlong platform mo?
Sa computer po, mas malaki po yung pwede nyong i-install. Then sa mobile po, maliliit lang po.
What are you referring na mas malaki yung pwede niyang i-install?
Halimbawa po yung mga software po. Sa mobile naman po kasi yung ibang software po hindi po applicable. Hindi po tinatanggap nung
So that's correct. Mas malaki yung capacity kasi ng mga computer natin. Well, the advantage of using the web naman, you don't need a very big capacity of your hard disk memory ang kailangan niya. Right? So you can basically access using the web, yung account nyo, whether nasaan man kayo, kahit kailan, as long as you have the gadget and the internet. Same as with, of course, using the cell phone or on the move using the cell phone, which is basically those were installed inside your cell phone. The main disadvantage lang of using the cell phone is, of course, mas maliit yung size ng screen. In terms of the web, you can access kasi in terms of sa web sa computer or of course through your other gadgets like for example your tablet or the cellphone. So basically yung size niya and of course the experience depends on how good the capacity of the unit you're using. So depende sa unit ninyo. If you preferred a bigger screen, so go with the laptop. If you prefer to be on the go, then use the cell phone or use a tablet instead. So basically, this kind of delivery technology sa ating mga hypertext or mga applications that we use depends on our preferences. So, depende sa preferences natin kung ano yung mas gusto natin gamitin. So, if mas gusto ninyo na lagi kayong nasa cellphone, well, actually, tama ba ako? Ano yun ang mas preferred ninyo? Fadel? Tama ba? Tama po ba, Fadel?
Nagpuputol po kasi.
Okay. So, ang tinatanong ko lang, tama ba na mas preferred ninyo na yung mga ganong klaseng applications or the web technologies are access to your cell phones? The concept kasi of your cell phones, it is always on the go. So, wherever you want to go, whether that is inside your room or gusto mo lilipat ka sa kusina nyo, pupunta ka sa may labas ng bahay nyo, pupunta ka sa CR, alam mo lagi yung cellphone nyo. Right? So, yun yung mga karaniwan yung nagawa. Okay, so the next topic in this chapter is the application areas. So one of the topic under the rich concept. So the application areas. So you have the rapid prototyping. Have you heard of the rapid prototyping na class? Have you heard of this, Camille? Rapid prototyping?
Yeah po, ma'am.
Okay. Ano ba yung rapid prototyping?
3D printing po.
Ano yun?
3D printing,
Yes.
ma'am.
Josiah, ano sabi mo?
3D printing po.
3D printing. Yun ba?
Ma'am, create live storyboards po.
May slides and storyboards. Okay. So rapid prototyping is a technique, or it is a tool or a way for you to do the script or programming. Kung paano kayo mag-program is it depends, or isa ito sa mga software development life cycle natin na ginagamit, the rapid prototyping. The example given in your book is the HyperCard. So, ang karaniwan kasi ang rapid prototyping basically is for you to develop, like for example, mga web pages or mga games or mga applications to produce graphical interfaces. So, it is basically used for this interactive system. So, yun yung karaniwang ginagamit na pag-develop or a principle or a way to develop or a software life cycle for IT people like us to develop a system or an application. So the help and documentation, of course, you all know this. Lahat ito ay ginagamit ninyo. It is, example is the online manuals or the help system application, which is basically discussed in our chapter 10. So it's more of the information na organized in hierarchical form and of course in detailed information. So it supports varying needs na kailangan natin as users such as quick reference, usage information, and full details of the software we are using. So yun yung isa sa mga binigay. Another is the education system. So, isa ito sa mga karaniwan din natin ginagamit, which provides an environment for the learners. So, you are the learners. So, there are some applications that you can easily download that will help you learn some of the subjects na tinuturo. Like, for example, for DepEd, or for those grade school, preschool, for those colleges, or for those high school subjects na pwede nyo gamitin. So, it is freely available sa ating Google App Store or in other like Huawei or in ano pangalan nito? Sa may Apple. Okay? So, the next is your education and e-learning. So, ito yung extensively used in terms of the hypertext and hypermedia. Ito yung madalas gumamit ito. So the hypermedia allows you as a student to control your learning process. Like for example, there are some classworks, di ba? Maraming mga classworks or activities that is uploaded on your Google Classroom. Not only in my subjects, but also in other subjects as well. Wherein, ang ginagawa ninyo or some of you, hindi mo na sinasagutan yung ibang activities. They jump off to another activities. Or ito yung mas preferred nilang unahin. Tama ba? Meron ganun sa inyo? Or minsan hindi nyo sinasagutan yung isang activity because you perceive that that is hard or medyo tama ba, Renz? Yes. Okay. So, kaso, kailangan nyo pa rin balikan yung mga activities na hindi nyo pa natapos. So, like the activities that you have sa subject natin or the different laboratory exercises na nandyan. So, I'm still expecting for you to complete that para pagdating natin sa computation ng grade, hindi nyo naman sasabihin, ma'am, bigyan nyo pa ako ng chance. Ma'am, pwede po bang mag-submit pa? So again, nakapost na dyan na kung kailan ang last day ng submission na 2 weeks lang hanggang next week. Okay? So here on this, using the hypertext in terms of the e-education and e-learning systems, we have the different text diagrams, photos, videos which are shared, which is used, of course, in terms of, or help you in terms of learning. So, intermedia daw, or the one that we use na gumagamit tayo ng mga different platforms, is successfully or successful in terms of university level teaching or sa mga college students like you. So, we use different platforms in our in your learning. Okay? So, both asynchronous and synchronous learning, yan ang ginagamit natin. Diba? With the help of the technology such as some of the teachers are using Facebook, some are, of course, like me, I am using Classroom or Google Classroom. And I also use like your YouTube, also your Google Chat for us to have that experience. Other than the Google Chat, the Google Classroom, we have the Forms, we have the Google Drive, and other platforms you might think of that will help you sa Google. Napakarami. And of course, the good thing is it's free. Okay? So next, you have the collaboration and community. The Google Chat is one for perfect example. We're in all of us have that in our um, as a common chat room wherein we can communicate or you can ask me questions that concerns your subject. Okay. Another is like for example on your emails. If you have that mailing list, kung kayo ay merong ganun ay you often have or inaayos ninyo yung contacts nyo according to certain list. Like for example, ito yung sa work, ito yung family, ito yung list ko ng mga students, ito yung list ko ng friends. So you can basically use that. But of course, us or yung ibang individual, maybe you are not actually having that list. Tama ba? Hindi nyo ginagawa yon o ginagawa ninyo sa email or sa cellphone. You have that mailing list. Meron ba kayong ganon sa cellphone ninyo? Rowen? Karina? Ann? Ann? Nandiyan pa po ba kayo? Naku, nawala na yata yung mga estudyante ko.
Pwede po bang paulit?
Okay, ang tinatanong ko lang if you have that mailing list in terms of sa contacts ninyo sa email or dyan sa mga cellphone contacts ninyo.
Okay po, ma'am. Opo.
Meron kayong gano'n. So you actually apply this. Alin doon sa dalawa or both ba? And?
Sa akin po, meron po akong main list kaso po hindi ko din po masyado nagagamit sila.
Okay. So it is, paano ba mas mainam siyang gamitin? Like for example, kapag kasi mailing list, you can easily set that to 2 sa email ninyo. Kapag i-write nyo siya, hindi nyo kailangang isulat or i-type yung lahat ng emails. So just type in the name of the group na kinreate mo. Automatic lahat ng nandoon sa list ay masasendan or mailalagay mo as the recipient of that email. So same scenario as with sending text using your cell phone. So yun yung pwede nyo gawin. Okay? So next, we have the e-commerce. Ito, lahat tayo gumagamit niyan. Ano yung example ng e-commerce? Algerine? Algerine?
Yung mga ano po, yung Shopee, Lazada, gano'n po, mga online, shopping, gano'n.
Okay. So, gumamit na kayo niyan. Shopee, Lazada. So, gumamit na kayo nito. Tama ba, Algerine?
Opo, ma'am, gumamit na.
Okay, gumamit na. So, ano na mas preferred nyo na gamitin? Is it Shopee or is it Lazada?
Shopee po.
Zalora, okay. Yung
Shopee
iba, mas gusto Shopee. Okay, so mas gusto sa Shopee. Bakit mas preferred nyo si Shopee?
Mas dami po
Ma'am.
mas safety po yung mga item po.
Mura po yung shipping.
Sino nagsalita? Ano sabi mo, Ruel? Mura yun?
Mura lang po yung shipping fee po. Tapos, nasa-suggest din po yung mas mura po na
Okay, mas mura yung shipping fee. Okay, how about your experience, Neil? Alin na mas preferred mo?
Ganun din po, mas mura po yung shipping fee mula po nung mahal po yung price po dun sa may Lazada.
Okay. So, how about you, Ralph? Ano na may disadvantage ng dalawa? Yung Shopee at Lazada, based sa experience mo.
Yung mga scam po.
Okay, sa scam. But in terms of the display of images, the display of products,
Hindi po po na display nila, hindi yung quality po, hindi po kamukha nung nasa description nila na okay po. Minsan po hindi po good yung mga product.
okay, so there are some information that is not highlighted or that is not shown on their product descriptions. Yun. And some images and some information like sizes, hindi tama or hindi akma doon sa nare-receive ng iba. Minsan napakamura, tapos pagdating pala, ay ganito lang pala yung itsura. So, sino dito yung na-scam na ng surprise box? Meron ba? May umorder na ba ng gano'n? Yes, Russell? Have you ordered that sa Shopee or Lazada? Russell?
Videos po sa mga YouTube po sa mga vlog po. Hindi po maganda po yung mga items.
Okay, so hindi maganda yung mga items. Para mong, bakit kaya marami pa rin
po, kadalasan
sa palagay nyo?
Marami po kasing umaasa na makakuha po sila ng mga magagandang items po. Tulad po sa may Lazada po. Surprise box po, dati mga smartphone to po. Tapos sa may review, nakita ko mga suyod lang po yung nakukuha.
Okay, kawawa naman. Tapos mahal pa yung pagkakabili o mura naman.
Oo po. Mahal.
So, that is of course, alam naman nila na na walang assurance yung mga binibili nila kung ano talaga yung laman. Umaasa lang sila na ganoon yung matatanggap. It's sugal, di ba? Sugal yun. Okay? Kasi you don't really know what you're buying, pero it's the essence of surprise that you're actually buying out of that experience. Okay. So in terms of this chapter, one of the topics that is discussed also is the loss in hyperspace. So that is a finding things. That is a topic that discusses the different topics such as loss in hyperspace, the designing structure, the navigation, history, bookmarks, and external links, indices, directories, and search. Basically, this finding things is more of the experience that you have whenever you access the web or this hypertext, this hypermedia. So first is the loss in hyperspace. Pag sinabi natin loss in hyperspace, ano ba ibig sabihin nito? Lahat tayo naranasan na natin. Bakit nagkakaroon ng loss in hyperspace? Can you please explain or discuss ano ba tong loss in hyperspace, Josiah?
Ano po siya, ma'am? Yung parang mangyayari po na parang nadidisorient na yung mga reader sa experience na nadidisorient na sila dahil sa experience dun sa mga binabasa nilang contents or documents po.
Okay, so it is more of
parang masyado nang na-engage yung reader sa binabasa niya.
Okay, so sometimes the content is confusing. Okay? And there is this non-linearity of the structure of the hypertext, which cause the loss in hyperspace. Okay? So the factors na leading to loss in hyperspace is two. Okay, so dalawang concept. First is cognitive and related to content. So tama yun, regarding sa binabasa ninyo. So in hypertext, reader can browse the text in order. So it can be also written virtually independently. So it can also have that assumption na you have prior knowledge before ninyo basahin yung isang content na makikita nyo sa internet. So, hindi naman lahat, ay of course, kabisado ninyo yung mga discuss. You normally have that lostness if ever that you don't connect with the content na binabasa ninyo. Na basically, para mo alien yung content na binabasa. Second is the navigation and the structure of the web page or the application you're using. So maybe or may have that form or hierarchical or structure that is not easy to navigate using those hyperlinks. So you might lose track of where you have been or yung mga binibisitan yung page. Sometimes kasi ang ginagawa natin, click lang kayo ng click doon sa makikita nyo sa web pages. Wherein, gusto ko pala itong kaninang binasa ko, hindi mo na makita kung saan mo titingnan. Okay? So, minsan you have that scenario na you have that loss in terms of hyperspace. So, one thing also that we normally have problems in terms of searching things in the internet is in terms of the design structure. So, the normal format of a paper or of a document is normally it is in a single structure. It's more of the linear structure. When in terms of hyperspace or in terms of hypertext, you have multiple structures can be used or that is considered and what to do about the materials posted in the internet, like for example, the hypermedia, like what we refer the mga audio, videos, and of course, some of the contents we read online. So also, we have to know that approach na we know where you are going or knowing where you are going principle. Ito kasi yung concept na dinagdag in terms of or in terms of using the internet or in terms of using the web pages kapag kayo in search. Minsan kasi, whenever we search in the internet, nilalagay natin or open in a new tab, open in a new window, we have that sense or lost in terms of what we are searching and what we are finding na iba na pala yung topic na binabasa ninyo. So, the common solution to that is of course to the back button or yung back dito sa browser wherein you normally click that for you to go back to the last page na binisit ninyo or simply browsing the history. Okay? So that is a good function of our web pages. So next is making the navigation easier. So this is one solution wherein you will provide a map of the hypertext document. Na, like for example, as IT, you will provide this. It's more of a hierarchical representation of the web pages that you're going to create. So, or series of boxes na yung nagre-represent sa bawat page na ng dinevelop ng website, for example. Okay. So in this kind of technique, you normally have that the developer guided tour of the whole web page, or might be the user can choose at what level or at what portion of the document they can read by cutting out some of the information that obtains not that important or necessary details. Okay, so we have also the history, bookmarks, and external links. So ito yung mga ginagamit natin in terms of browsing using our internet browsers. Tama? Ginagamit nyo ito. Ginagamit nyo ba yung history? Diyan sa phone ninyo or diyan sa web?
Opo.
Okay, paano nyo ginagamit itong history, bookmarks, and external links?
May gusto kong balikan na website po.
Okay. Pag may gustong balikan na website, para saan yung bookmark?
Para ma-save po yung link na
Para i-save po
madaling
yung
access.
Okay, correct. Para i-save yung link na para mas madali siyang i-access. How about those external links?
yung nililink po yung ibang link galing sa ibang website po.
Okay, so para siya nag-open. Minsan, di ba, kapag external link, it will open automatically as a new page or a new tab. Right? So, ganun yung ginagawa. Yeah. So, those are the conception of your history bookmarks and external links. Diniscuss na siya ng ganyan dito or mahaba yung pagkakalagay sa libro. Pero, as the concept itself, it is basically simple. Okay? Last under finding things is the indices, directories, and search. Paano naman ninyo ito ginagamit? Friends? 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 Asan ka po? Indices, directories, and search. Yeah, so kanina, in-explain nyo, history, bookmarks, and external links. Now, we have indices, directories, and search naman. Ako wala yata si Renz. How about you, Russell?
Yes po, yes po.
Paano yung ginagamit yung mga yan? Yung tatlong concept na yan. Your indices, directories, and search.
Yun po yung ano po, keyword po sa mga categories po.
Mm-hmm.
Ang directory browsing po, ma'am.
Yes, Renz?
Yung directories naman po is yun po yung mga categories po.
Russell, alin ka mo? Yung directories yun ay ang? Okay, ulit.
Yun po yung mga categories po ng mga websites po.
Okay, and the most common na ginagamit ninyo is the search. Right, Trina? Paano nyo naman ginagamit yung search?
Yun po yung...
Galing, si Trina, wala pa rin. Trina, wala ka pang recitation.
So yung pag nag-search po tayo ng mga web po.
Yung pag nag-search tayo ng web. Ano? Discuss it elaborately, please. Trina? Trina?
Example po, nag-search po ng link po. Kunwari po, yung Facebook po, dun po, magagamit po natin yung search po doon.
Mm-hmm. So, the most common is Google.
Ma'am, kailangan
ano yun, Renz?
kailangan po natin gumamit ng search engine po sa ating browser para po sa search.
Yes, okay. So, the most common search engine that we use is, of course, the friendly neighbor Google. So, siya ang ating tinitingnan in terms of, or siya yung ginagamit natin in searching. What is the function of Google in terms of searching those different keywords that you enter sa kanya para mag-search siya ng topics na kailangan ninyo? Anyone?
Ma'am?
Yes, Josiah?
Para sa akin po kasi, ma'am, searching po is the easiest way para maghanap ng anything related sa keyword na hinahanap natin. Sa index po kasi tsaka sa directories, parang very similar po siya kung paano natin gamitin yung index and directories sa libro. And search naman po pagdating sa computers natin or sa gadgets natin ay similar din po siya pero mas madali kasi yun na po kagad yung ilalabas niya. Yung...
Okay. So, the functions of our Google in terms of searching, di ba nila-rank na yung page?
Yes po.
Pag halimbawa ang sinesearch ninyo, normally, hindi niya in ranking that page. So, yung most common or yung para mo pinakamaraming search o pinakamaraming open, I don't know how do they rank it. Then, si Magical just went, first page, okay, normally yung top rank is on the first link. Tama? Yung first link na makikita ninyo. And then yung second link, and of course yung sa last, hanggang sa makarating kayo sa dulong search. Yun yung way niya ng pag-rank ng mga pages, which matches the search na, or the keyword na in-enter ninyo. It depends on that. So, meron siyang ranking mechanism. So, under this chapter also, or under the hypertext, multimedia, and of course the worldwide, we have that web technology and issues that we needed to know too in terms of this. In terms of the web technology, we often use HTML or XML. Ano ba yung sinasabi natin HTML? Alam niyo ba ibig sabihin ng HTML?
Yung
Yes,
may
kami.
name po ba, ma'am?
Yeah,
HTML?
ano ba HTML?
Text markup language po.
Okay, it's hypertext markup language. How about XML? Charlie?
Mama ko po.
Yes? Yes, Mary Ann?
Extensible markup language po.
Okay, so those are the two technology that's commonly used in terms of developing our web pages. Okay? Pag sinabi natin na HTML, this allows hypertext links, images, sounds, and movies to be embedded into text or in your web pages. Okay? So we have also the HTML documents are interpreted by the user, which is known as a browser. So pag sinabi natin, there are many browsers that we can use to interpret those HTML. Ang most common na ginagamit natin, in my own, sa akin, ang ginagamit ko is Google Chrome, next is Firefox, and the last is IE. Kayo ba? Ano ginagamit ninyo?
Microsoft Edge po.
Microsoft Edge. So, what's the experience or bakit mas preferred niyo?
Dito po sa may Edge po, ma'am, pag po merong hindi ginagamit na tab sa may pag meron po hindi ginagamit na tab, kusa po siyang parang kumbaga po dinidelete po kagad yung cache para po makasave po ng data.
So, ganun ginagawa niya. Okay, sa Edge. Okay, yung iba naman, ano yung preferred ninyo aside from Edge? And why do you prefer that browser? Padel? Padel? Okay, nakawala si Padel. How about you, Rowan?
Ako po, Google Chrome po.
Google Chrome. Sino may sumagot? Padel. Okay, bakit Google Chrome?
Ako din po, ma'am po.
Okay, bakit Chrome?
Mas madali po kasi siyang gamitin compare po sa Microsoft Edge po at saka Mozilla po.
Mas madali siyang gamitin. Okay. In terms of what? Bakit siya mas madaling gamitin?
Syncing po.
Okay, so nagsisync siya from one device to the other. Like for example, if you are browsing on your cell phone, whenever you're browsing the cell phone at ang naka-install ninyo is, like for example sa akin, yung email ko ng richcortez1234@gmail.com. That is, naka-log siya doon sa cellphone ko. And also, of course, the browser is getting the information of all the searches I have for the Android browser ko doon sa cellphone. And then when I shift into my computer, I also have the same Google account. So automatically, it is also synced on my Google account. And whenever you want to see the history, there is this distinction on what is search doon sa web browser ninyo using the cellphone and what is search doon sa web browser ninyo in terms of sa laptop. Okay, so may sync feature siya. So sa Microsoft, sa IE, tama ba? Sino yung nakalina? Sa Microsoft. So may gano'n din ba siyang feature na nagsisync? Microsoft Edge pala.
Ay po, ano po, makakagamit ka pa rin po ng mga Google application po dito sa Microsoft Edge.
So, nagsisync din siya?
Yes po, yes po.
Like for example, okay. So, same naman. Mas preferred lang kasi nung iba. Depende, of course, sa perception ninyo, ano yung mas maganda or appealing sa mga mata ninyo, mas madaling gamitin.
Ako po, based po sa mga nakikita ko, mas simple po yung user interface po ng Google Chrome, kaya po nakikita ko po bakit ginagamit po ng ilan.
Okay, correct. Oo, yun kasi mas simple, tapos nakasync pa siya. Hindi ganun kahirap yung pag-set up, saglit lang, mga ganyan. Nung una kasi, ang ginagamit ko is Firefox, hindi siya nakasync doon sa may, or wala siyang nakalag na Google account, so hindi ko ma-sync. So, ginawa ko, I shift into Google Chrome since it's under one company of Google, of course. So, nasi-sync ng mas madaling i-sync yung mga browse ko and of course the pages that I visit and other technology which you use using my devices. Okay, so next we have the web servers and web clients. So dito sa web servers and web clients, normally for us to access it, we use the HTTP www. And then like for example, www.google.com. Diba? Yun yung karaniwan natin ginagamit. So HTTP, which says how it talks to the server. Okay? Isang alternative niyan is if you include FTP. So the second part is the www.facebook.com is the host name or the name of the web server which contains the requested page, which doon sa binigay natin example is the Facebook. Okay? So the web server might be located, like for example, ang Facebook kasi, it is ang company niya nag-start sa US. So technically, ang thinking natin nandun lahat ang web server. Tama ba? Tama po ba?
Opo.
Kayo. Okay, salamat. Okay. So some companies, ang ginagawa nila, they do have different web servers. Meron silang backup server na might be located into or in a different location. Like for example, bakit ginagawa yun? Kapag halimbawang nag-down yung server doon sa main location, so ang ina-access ninyo is these other web servers located into a different location para continued ang nagagamit yung web page or the website. So that is the concept of using web servers. And of course, in terms of web clients, we are the one who are the clients. Okay? So we are running the web browser using our cell phones, using our tablets, using our PC or our laptops. Okay? So we are what we call the web clients. Okay? So you now understand the term ng dalawang yon? Naintindihan? Naintindihan po ba?
Opo.
Okay, thank you, Mary Ann. So next is the network issue. So in the network issue, what we normally experience is in terms of the bandwidth, the latency, and the jitter. So these are the three. The bandwidth is the network capacity. Okay? The latency is the delay. Okay? And the jitter is the variability in the latency. Minsan kasi, whenever we access a website, kapag mabagal ang internet natin, hindi agad naglo-load yung website. Okay? So it depends on our internet connection, or maybe sa signal natin when we are using data on our cell phones. Or might be, of course, yung capacity no gamit natin. Like for example, sa akin, naghahang na yung unit kahit browser lang yung nakabukas. Medyo mahirap. Okay. So we normally experience this different problems in terms of accessing these different web pages or applications. So of course, ano yung solution na pwede niyong gawin? It can be na i-upgrade yung capacity ng unit, or it can be having a different internet connection with a higher bandwidth. And of course, looking in terms na nakadata kayo, humanap ng mas malakas yung signal para at least hindi ninyo ma-experience yung halimbawa nakakonect kayo sa ating exam or sa ating quiz or sa ating Google Meet. So, ang nangyayari, minsan naglo-lose kayo ng connection, hindi nyo maipasa, for example, ang inyong quiz. Di ba? Yun yung mga normally ninyo na-experience na minsan yung mga nag-email sa akin stating those problems. So, para mas maiwasan ninyo, see to it that you will test itong internet connection in terms of sa bilis, in terms of saan mas mainam na pumunta to find the mas malakas na signal, and of course, anong oras mas mainam. Okay? In terms of accessing the certain application. Of course, in our Google Meet class, ang nangyayari, like for example, minsan ako, what happens is nagda-drop yung signal ko dito sa office. So what I did is of course nakaka-stress yun eh. So lagi, I bring my phone and then doon na lang ako nakakonect. So I didn't use the office internet because it's very stressful. Okay. So, but our solution is of course what I stated earlier. So, mas maganda if you're experiencing these types of problems in terms of your internet connection. Mas maganda, tingnan nyo na, saan ba mas mainam ako kumonek? Mas maganda ba magbago na ako ng internet provider? Mas maganda ba magbago na ako ng SIM? O mas mainam na ganito gawin ko, magpalit ako ng unit, see to it that you will check those. Okay? For you to have that experience or remarkable experience, and of course, mas faster yung connection niyo. Whenever you have synchronous classes or maybe quizzes with deadlines na kailangan ninyo bago yung time na sinabing isasara, ay dapat makapag-submit na kayo. Okay? So those are the different web technology and issues we encountered as users of this internet or the hypertext in our web pages or applications. Questions? Questions, class? Naintindihan po ba?
Yes po.
Okay, salamat, Josiah. Okay, so we have the last two topics pagdating dito sa ating last two. So the first is the static web content and the dynamic web content. Okay? So static web content, you have the message and the medium, the text, the graphics, and of course, the movies and sound. In your dynamic web content, we have the active web, the user view, the security, the technology, ito is mga tinitingnan natin. Fixed content, search, automatic generation, batch generation, and dynamic content. Ano kaya yung difference or similarity nitong dalawa na ito? Ito, static web and your dynamic web. So, start tayo kay static web. Okay, para hindi naman mahirapan agad. So, ano pa yung static web? Ano yung static web? Pwede kayo magbigay ng example.
Ma'am.
Yes? Sino po nagsalita? Okay, Camille? Can you give example of a static web? Mm-hmm.
Based lang po sa pagkakaintindi ko, parang ito po yung user interface po. Parang gano'n.
User interface.
Madalas na makikita ng user.
Mhm. Okay, ano pa? Hindi, yung static web content, wala pa tayo dun sa
Mga
message in the
vlogs po,
medium, ha?
ma'am.
Mga vlogs. Vlogs are, for example, magko-comment ako doon, and then may ibang user na magko-comment. Ganun ang vlogs, di ba? Tama ba?
Opo.
Or you are referring to Spotify. Ang tawag natin doon? Sa Spotify, vlogs ba yung tawag sa kanila rin? Okay, pag sinabi natin static web content, those
Ay,
are, for
yung
example,
iniisip ko po
yeah?
sana yung
Example ng static web content are those, for example, yung ating website. Bakit kaya yun ay considered as static? Bakit natin kinoconsider yun as static? Kung sinabi natin dynamic, that is Facebook. Why do you think that I have those two examples? First one is, of course, for static, the website natin sa Pasi, and for dynamic, I have that, the Facebook. Ano ba yung features ng website natin and features ng Facebook? Charlie!
Sa static po, ma'am, ano po. Para doon na po yun, naka-encrypt na po lahat doon yung information gamit po yung HTML po. Na magpo-provide po ng display po sa web po natin. And doon po ipapakita yung mga information po. And kung paano po ipapublish.
Okay. So pag sinabi natin static, it's more of display of the information. Like sa website natin, ang makikita nyo mga news about Basi, like brief history, vision and mission, the different officials, the name, how to contact them, the strategic plan, the different web pages like the gallery, the publications, etc. But you cannot comment, right? Hindi kayo pwede makipag-communicate sa kanila. Hindi nyo pa pwedeng what do you call this, change the content or maybe adding comments onto it. You cannot. When in Facebook, what are the different options that you can do? Ano yung ginagawa niyo? Diba
Ano po
kapag sa
more
Facebook, pwede kayo
interactive mode na?
Okay. So, more of interactive. So, like for example, kapag meron kayong that form of interaction na si user or like si Neil, like for example, si Neil ay nagko-comment sa isang post ni Camille. So, makikita mo na doon sa baba, while you are actually seeing it, Camille, di ba? Merong tatlong dot na nag-move kapag may nagta-type doon. Tama ba? Or may nagko-comment. Camille, are you there? Camille.
Ma'am,
Tama
hello
po
po.
ba? Hmm.
Opo, opo.
So nakikita mo ba yun kapag halimbawa may nagko-comment sa iyong post?
Yes po, yes po.
Okay, so yun yung one of the functions of Facebook that makes it a dynamic web. Okay? So aside from that, those, balik tayo sa ating static. Wait lang, naghahanga naman. Okay. So the problems in terms of those static web content. Minsan, there are some web pages that you normally open and then have that information. No, were not properly taken care with the actual content. What do I mean with this? Some material kasi use attractive, like for example, in terms of the contents, how they write it. Ang ganda ng pagkakalagay. But still, the material is useless or maybe offering some fake news. May nabasa na ba kayong mga fake news sa mga website?
Ang dami po.
Normally, yan yung nakikita natin, di ba? Sa Facebook, nakashare doon. Minsan nga, hindi lang fake news eh. Minsan, nagli-link pa ng mga spam or kaya ng mga viruses, right?
Opo.
So what we do with this, whenever you are looking for information over the web, make sure that you are checking the details. Sino yung nag-post? Like for example, yan ba ay news article? Meron kasi minsan, di ba, sabi, namatay na si ganito. Condolence, condolence, condolence. Yung mga nagsusulat. O kaya, sinishare ninyo, namatay na raw si President ganito. Di ba, may mga gano'n ng mga fake news before. So what the Facebook user does, yung iba, they actually share. And sharing the fake news na hindi nila binavalidate yung information. Okay? So as user of these technologies, we must validate all the information we read online. We have to look into other resources that is actually saying the same thing. For example, looking for news articles that is discussing like, for example, the COVID-19 vaccine. So make sure that you're going to read it. If you wanted to see, like for example, the effects of it, see some of the websites like the United Nations, the World Health Organizations, the DOH, and other health organizations that is actually discussing ano ba yung effects ng COVID-19 vaccine para at least mas alam ninyo alin ang mas applicable sa inyo na vaccine. Okay. Okay, do you understand, class?
Yes po.
Okay. One of the things that you need to look at also is the text, okay, ng ating static web content. Why is the text important? Because we have to be able to read exactly what is the information being written. Like, yung iba kasi gumagamit ng mga standard fonts, like mga like bold, italic versions of different sizes. So, iba-iba ng representation. Sige, share ko na lang ito. Ay, ayaw naman mag... Wait lang ha, nagahang lang yung unit ko. Ayan. Pasensya na, last meeting na kasi natin today, sayang naman. Okay, I'm gonna share with you a tab of the website. Okay, so this is the website of our school. Have you checked this? Have you checked this already? Ha?
Apa.
Natingnan niyo na ba ito? Okay. Okay. Ito pala ang website. Ito ang website ng BASI. As you can see here, this is basc.edu.ph. Ayan. https://www.basc.edu.ph. So what can you notice from this website na tinitingnan nyo? Pwede ninyong i-access dyan sa mga unit ninyo para makita nyo yung website mismo. So I'm gonna browse, dahan-dahan lang. And then give your comment regarding the website. Okay, now, what's your comment or what have you noticed while accessing this website? What have you noticed, class, nung ina-access yung website? Na-access ko, ha? What have you noticed? So, konti pala yung tinignan natin yan. Your honest opinion regarding the contents of the website. That is a static web. Okay? Example of static web.
Ano lang, simple lang po siya, hindi siya yung
Yung
madami
mga
siyang design.
nakalagay po, mga news, about po sa mga ginagawa po sa bus.
Okay, so sabi ni Algerine, simple yung design. So, yes, it's simple. Okay? Aside from that, sabi naman ni Camille, ang naka-display ay about sa news. Okay, ano pa ba yung inaasahan ninyo i-display ng website sa main page niya? Ito yung main page eh. Oh.
More details about the school po, like courses
Mhm.
offered, mga ganung bagay.
Okay. So, sa first page, yun ang mas gusto nyo makita. As you can see here, agad hindi natin nakita yung pinaka-top niya. Ano ba pangalan ng yung pangalan ng website, yung halimbawa nakalagay lang Bulacan Agricultural State College, isa taas. Wala eh. Then meron na agad dito. So, the basic information about the website is actually not really shown here. So, aside from that, yung mga nakasulat dito, medyo maliliit yung iba, nababasa ba ng maayos? Although dito sa part ko, if, like for example sa akin, naintindihan ko na may mga nakasulat, malalaki yung pagkakasulat. But of course, there is some information that should not be here and is here actually, like this news. So okay lang na ito ay nasa left side. Ganun. So there are many ways on how to display information. Okay, I will show you the DLSU. So we have many things na pa pwede pang ayusin in terms of sa website natin. So baka kayo gusto nyong gawin yan, mas maganda sana para matulungan natin ang school in terms of developing the website of the school para mas maging efficient siya in terms of the displayed information and of course in terms of the displayed information yung mas kailangan natin, similar to what you have said kanina ng mga inaasahan ninyong nandun agad. So, medyo mamagal lang ang website. So, this is what is appearing kapag ina-access ang website ng DLSU. So, it's loading. Whenever you see this square or set of square green box, aga lang mag-load.
Medyo ganyan po sa DLSU yung ideal na itsura ng website. Parang minamarket po yung school mismo.
Yes. Baka mayroon sa inyo na gustong i-take over to as capstone project para matulungan natin ang school. Why not? Pwede yun. And of course, you have to make it interactive. Like for example, gagawa nyo siya ng counterpart na application for BASC. Why not? Meron atang minsan nagsabi sa inyo nun eh, but the concept is more of display lang din sa application. I'm not sure lang kung anong section yung nag-present. Pero meron yata before. Pero if the idea is to have the website and like here, dito sa web natin and then may counterpart siya in terms of the application, why not? Which is a more interactive one. Kasi ang trend ngayon for the different applications developed sa IT is more of combining different systems. Like, for example, a web counterpart and mobile app. Okay? Baka gusto ninyo, why not? Pwede yun. Meron pang isang topic regarding the school na kailangan namin ngayon. It's the accreditation website or with an app. So accreditation information system, which is a combination of a mobile and web application. The concept of that is the employees or all the individuals here in or working individuals here in the ESC can actually access the um, accreditation section assigned to them. Like for example, sa akin, the assigned is faculty or the section 2. So what I will do is, of course, to upload evidences that will show the content of that section and then have it and access it through the use of my mobile and through the use of website if nasa computer ako. So matagal lang talaga siya Okay. So that is the concept sana eh. Wait lang. UP.page. So, dalawang capstone na yun, ha? Baka meron sa inyo gustong kumuha. Or baka may gustong magtuloy nun. Mas maganda kasi if you are thinking of that ahead of time, para pagdating nyo next year or next school year, magpapakasyon kayo ng 2 months, you can easily conceptualize and then think of research kung paano siya gagawin, ano yung mga kailangan. So this is for the UP. Ay, hindi pa na nakikita. This is for the UP. So, if I will comment on this, masyado lang malalaki. So like for example, ito.
Granny
Nakikita?
website, ma'am.
So sobrang laki lang yung naka-display. Also, the featured news so big and the spaces are not properly utilized. So, baka meron sa inyong may gustong gumawa ng website natin for us to help the college, mas maganda sa atin. Okay? So, that is the example of your static websites. So, share lang natin ulit. Okay? So, the graphics, as you can see there, and the use of the different colors for the texts, actually, you can see there kanina, di ba? Some of the topics, like for example, yung title ng topics, it's in bold. And of course, mas malaki yung text niya. And aside from that, the color is different. Right? Ganon yung na-notice ninyo. Tama ba? Tama po ba?
Opo.
Yeah? Okay, salamat. Okay, so you can easily see there also the different videos or pictures also. Ganda. Maganda yung Maganda yun rin yun sa UP. Kaso medyo malaki nga lang yung ibang mga quick links. Sobrang laki yung icon. And sobrang laki yung mga news na nakalagay. Okay? So the first page of the UP actually shows a different information about the university. And some of the news na hinati-hati sana nilagay mas marami para mas efficient. Okay, let's see. May papakita ko dito siya. Medyo bagay talaga siya. Okay, and of course, you can add in movies and of course sound on sa mga display natin. But of course, ideally, you have to make the part of the bandwidth na gagamitin kasi may limit lang din yung pwede mong i-upload sa website. Okay? Or doon sa ika-create na website. Like for example, sa basi.edu.ph, merong limit lang in terms of the capacity ng buong website. So, mas maganda if they're gonna use it wisely and be able to display the information needed for a college like us within that preferred bandwidth or preferred limit in terms of the size of the website. For these dynamic, like for example, this is what we call the active web. Ang binigay natin kaninang example is the Facebook. Why do you think I gave Facebook as an example of a dynamic website? What have you noticed? And also, like for example, Google Chat. Aside from that, this one that we're using, Google Meet. is it dynamic?
Application controlled po
Also
yung
Google
website.
Classroom. Yes, of course. It's application. You can actually control it. Okay, the contents that you put in it, especially like for example on your own personal account in Facebook, right? So kapag nag-display kayo doon, kahit na anong gusto nyo display, kahit napakaraming selfie na gusto nyo i-display, share nyo doon sa may story ninyo, i-post nyo pa, sige lang kasi account nyo. And at the same time, whenever people wanted to comment on it, like for example, nakita nyo active siya, yung friendly nyo, you can easily see, di ba? Tama, nakikita ninyo if active yung user na gusto nyo kausapin. And if, for example, they are typing or if nag-comment sila on certain web page or sa certain picture or image or video that you have uploaded. Okay? One concern lang in terms of the dynamic is, of course, how the user view it, the technology, and of course, the security. So for this dynamic kasi, normally, the dynamic changes, okay? So like for example, your post today can be seen kahit na bukas. Kaya lang, when you updated it or add another post, yun yung makikitang una sa post na yun. Tama? Tama po ba?
Sa Facebook po, more on popularity po ng post.
Yes, okay. Yes, that's correct. So it's more of popularity of post. So who is actually seeing it depends on the restrictions that you set. Like for example, by friends lang or friends of friends or maybe you lang or maybe a public, right? So yun yung mga pwede niyong gawin or iset for the rules. In terms of technology and security, so in terms of this, we normally have that experience na meron kayong mga nakiklik na mga link sa Facebook. Am I correct? Tapos, bigla na lang nagpo-post sa inyong wall. Merong ganun na nakaka-experience.
Meron po.
Okay, so ano yung normal na experience
Yes po.
niyo? Okay, na-experience niyo yan. Okay, so what happened? Ano yung mga napopost?
Gaya po nung kanina, fake news po, ganun.
Fake news and aside from that,
Mga phishing websites po na mga
yes, phishing websites. Yes.
malicious links, ganun.
Yes, isa pa yan, malicious links. So yung iba, di ba, minsan magugulat ka, may sinend na pala doon sa kakilala mo ng mga message or links. So minsan ako, as a user of Facebook, I never click on links sent to me directly. Kasi mga phishing website yun or maybe spam messages. So iwas lang din ako in terms of that.
Sobrang dami pong nabibiktima niyan ngayon.
Correct. Oo. Minsan din kasi, fault din natin as user. Why is it? Because we actually trust everything that we see on the platform. We actually wanted to look kapag nakita natin na, interesting to ha. Tapos bigla-bigla na lang, ganun pala yung nangyari. Tama ba?
Opo.
So those are the issues that you normally experience in terms of this kind of platform, okay? Or in terms of this dynamic web content. So what we as user can do is of course to validate the information that we search and wag kayong basta-basta na lang nag-click ng mga link na binibigay sa inyo. Tingnan nyo muna kung totoo. Minsan kasi, of course, may mga fake news kayong nasi-share or maybe minsan, kung naranasan nyo yun, minsan may nakikita kami na actually sinishare na wala noong 2020 tapos yung isi-share na naman maraming multiple shares. So itingnan nyo rin yung date kung kailan yung i-share or pinost sa Facebook. Yung mga comment, nahanap na yan last year pa, bakit yan na naman sinishare? Well, ganun, because everything that you put online is actually there. Hindi yun nadidelete. Okay? Especially in Facebook. It is part of its history, right? Tama?
Yes po.
Okay. So those are the different topics on